Hey guys, welcome. This is Dr. Isabella Wentz, and I'm so excited to be here with you to be talking about overcoming adrenal fatigue and overcoming adrenal issues. Now, if you've been following my work for a while, you'll know that there's an intimate connection between adrenal dysfunction and thyroid issues, right? So I've been talking about adrenal dysfunction for quite some time now, for at least 10 years. This was a big part of my healing journey, was getting my adrenals in balance. Now, the protocols that I used to heal myself focused on really getting through like hormones, right? So I was really focused on utilizing hormones like pregnenolone and DHEA. And then I started utilizing that with clients, but some of them weren't able to take these hormones. And then some people were having a hard time, like you can metabolize them to estrogen and that can cause estrogen dominance. And so then I started working with more lifestyle measures for people. And I focused on getting lots of sleep and quitting caffeine. That worked well for some people, but not for others, right? For some people, it's as easy as saying, just get more sleep. But it's not always so easy. So I have been wanting to share a bit more about insomnia and sleep issues with you guys. And let me know if you can hear me here. And if you have any questions about that, I would love to answer them for you. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of a reading from my book on insomnia and sleep issues. My Adrenal Transformation Protocol book comes out today. It is something that is been a work in progress. It's actually, I started working with these advanced adrenal protocols back in 2018, actually 2019, when my son was born and I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. So I couldn't quit the coffee, I couldn't take hormones, and I just simply couldn't sleep because little kids, little babies, they wake up every 2 to 3 hours. And quite frankly, the last week my son was sick as well, and I couldn't sleep either, and I still had to try to support my adrenals throughout that process. So my new book is kind of an evolution of my own healing journey and helping people who maybe can't live like the perfect influencer lifestyle of meditating all day and going to yoga class and have like real lives and real responsibilities to actually feel better and thrive. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about Adrenal Transformation Protocol today. I'll be doing a little bit of a reading about overcoming insomnia and sleep issues. I wanted to let you know that you can get my book on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold. Actually, if you go to Amazon right now, I'll be able to send you a link to order my new book. So you'll just have to comment with ATP and I'll be able to send you a link. And right now it's 20% off on Amazon. So Sherry says the sound is good. Lisa's here and Carl is here. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And let's see. I wanted to mention for insomnia and sleep issues, the program that I laid out in the Adrenal Transformation Protocol is very successful. My aim for everybody going through the program is more than 80% success rate. So part of what I recommend are 2 foundational things to get more sleep. Magnesium can be helpful. Epsom salt baths can be helpful. This is part of the bedtime routine that I recommend. Sleeping in a dark room, making sure your blood sugar balance, you're connecting with the circadian rhythm throughout the day. So you're going outside and getting some sunshine. These can be all really helpful things to align with the circadian rhythm so your body can produce more energy throughout the day and get that signal that at nighttime it's time for sleep. And that can work for many people. But the way that the book is organized, I have a section. The first part of the book focuses on understanding your adrenals and how to best support them. The second part is the Adrenal Transformation Protocol that goes over my 4-week protocol that gets these phenomenal results. Like 80% of the people will have improvements in sleep and brain fog and fatigue and all of these issues. And we do that through replenishing, re-energizing, revitalizing, rebuilding resilience. And then part 3 focuses on the next steps and the advanced protocols. So I really focus on like, what do you still need to tweak, right? Are you still having trouble with sleep? Are you still having trouble with your mood? Are you still having trouble with libido, with your anxiety? And I have a section, along with the recipes, this is like the third part of the book, where I have laid out like for the 20% of people that maybe need some deeper help and deeper work, I go deeper into functional medicine where I talk about some of the causes. So I'd love to do a little bit of a reading for you guys for, let's see, insomnia and sleep issues. So I've certainly dealt with my share of sleep challenges, both prior to my Hashimoto's diagnosis and more recently as a new mother. I know firsthand how important quality sleep is for my personal well-being. And as a pharmacist working in functional medicine, the science is clear that sleep is fundamental to health and healing. Many of the interventions we've been working on throughout the Adrenal Transformation Protocol should help your sleep cycle, including stabilizing blood sugar, maintaining proper hydration, rebalancing the circadian rhythm, releasing trauma, and supplementing with adaptogenic herbs, magnesium, and myo-inositol. Additional ways to go deeper in the program to support sleep include, if you've done blood sugar balancing, but you're still experiencing night wakings between 2 and 3 that leave you anxious and needing a snack to go back to sleep, then that's probably a sign that you need to do deeper work on your blood sugar balance. And then I have laid out on page 357, what is some of the more deeper work that we need to do with blood sugar balance, right? And so I focus on what's in this box. Okay. So in addition to something like the program utilizes diet and myo-inositol because it has so many incredible helpful benefits for thyroid, adrenals, anxiety, sleep, blood sugar, PCOS, that usually that's enough for 80% of people to be able to sleep really well through the night and feel better. But if you're somebody that's waking up between 2 and 3, we may need to do something like utilizing berberine for you. So berberine can be helpful for blood sugar issues as well. You may also wish to utilize something like chromium. Chromium is another supplement. It's actually, a nutrient that can be deficient in people with blood sugar issues. And in some people, that can be the reason behind their night wakings, right? So I talk about chromium and how to use it. And then I talk about caffeine. So try a different variety of caffeine-free relaxing tea. I have some balancing teas on page 161. So in case you need a little bit more help, like let's say if you're having anxiety, maybe doing some lemon balm tea in the evenings can be helpful, or chamomile can promote sleep. Tulsi, holy basil can be helpful. Passion flower in the evenings can be helpful for sleep. And then rose hip as well. So that can be helpful. Another thing to consider is some people, hibiscus tea, if they have high evening cortisol, which is kind of going to be symptomatic of having trouble falling asleep, hibiscus tea can be helpful for that. Then I have another recommendation. So caffeine wean. I used to consider myself to be a light sleeper until I dropped my caffeine intake to 2 cups of tea each morning instead of having 6 to 8 black teas a day. I know I was an addict. I didn't realize that. And I used to have a bedtime black tea, and I thought like I just was a light sleeper. Turns out that I'm not a light sleeper. Turns out that it was just the caffeine that was causing me to wake up throughout the night. So one of the things that I don't have you do throughout the 4-week program is I'm not a stickler about giving up caffeine. Rather, I focus on giving you energy first. so that you can come off the caffeine if you want to. Okay. Deficiency in B vitamins can contribute to a range of adrenal symptoms, and oftentimes B6 can be beneficial for helping you sleep. B6 is something that I prefer taking in the P5P version, and some people have found that to be incredibly helpful for producing neurotransmitters that help us sleep. And then B1, thiamine, can also be helpful for people who seem to wake up throughout the night. Switch your magnesium. Do note that the citrate version of magnesium may cause, it's generally sleep promoting in a lot of people, but for some people, they say, actually, I slept less with it. And then I also see the same thing. Some people are on magnesium glycinate, and for many reasons, it can overconvert to something known as glutamate, which is a kind of a neurotransmitter that like makes us a little bit wired. And one of the reasons is P5P or B6 deficiency. There's other reasons as well. And so some people might be taking the wrong kind of magnesium. If that's you, consider doing an Epsom salt bath. And then insomnia and sleep issues, especially when associated with mood symptoms, can be due to trauma. So working with trauma release therapies may be the path to resolving your sleep troubles. Now, I also have a section that talks about potential root causes of insomnia and sleep issues. So I have things like copper toxicity. Some of the other symptoms associated are agitation, racing thoughts, restlessness, and insomnia. Very, very common with anxiety, and you might see cystic acne. Flipped cortisol curve. So if we're supposed to have low cortisol in the evening so we could sleep really well. Some people have high cortisol in the evenings, and that can cause trouble sleeping. So I do have guidance on how to address that. Gut imbalance infections. Some gut imbalances may lead to frequent night wakings, and because gut pathogens secrete neurotoxic substances, including excess ammonia, that can lead to frequent night wakings. H. pylori is one of these. This can be something that can be a trigger for Hashimoto's as well, and reactive hypoglycemia, thyroid nodules. So this is very relevant for a lot of people. Ammonia can be cleared with ornithine. So that is a type of supplement you can utilize if you're somebody that has a lot of frequent night wakings. This might be something that can be a big game changer for you. Hormonal imbalance. Estrogen dominance and low progesterone levels can be at the root of insomnia for some people, especially women over 35. So in that case, you may benefit from something like progesterone, right? Sometimes progesterone can be very helpful for sleeping better, right? Amongst other things, anxiety and our hormones. There's also, you can support your own progesterone production with magnesium and vitamin C, which we include in the program, and potentially adding in something like P5P, which is the active version of B6. Iron toxicity and iron overload, as well as low iron, can actually cause insomnia and sleep issues. So I do recommend testing ferritin levels to see where your levels are at. I don't recommend supplementing with iron willy-nilly because some people might have excess levels, especially men as well as women who are no longer menstruating. Okay, mold exposure and mycotoxins can lead to sleep issues and frequent night waking. So I talk about what tests you can do, such as the organic acids and Great Plains mycotox test to see if you have mold presence in your body. This could be a very relevant root cause. Nutrient deficiencies in folate, iron, B12, and other vitamins can improve sleep when we address these nutrients. And so I talk about how to utilize that. Pyroluria is another condition where we're deficient in both B6 and zinc, and this can be related. Sleep apnea, loud snoring, gasping for air during sleep. These can be related to a sore throat or very dry mouth, morning headaches, restless sleep, excessive daytime sleepiness are symptoms of sleep apnea. If somebody sleeps with you, says that you snore, there's a good chance you might have this. Very, very common in Hashimoto's. And there's a high prevalence of Hashimoto's antibodies in people with sleep apnea. One of the things I found to be really responsive to that, other than like a CPAP machine, is mandibular advancement devices, as well as mitochondrial support, which is the topic of the book. We focus on a lot of mitochondrial support throughout this process, and this can be very, very relevant if you have sleep apnea. Then, of course, thyroid hormone imbalances, insomnia, and restlessness can be caused by an overactive thyroid, such as you would see with Graves' disease, or an over-medication with thyroid hormones, which sometimes people with Hashimoto's may be over-medicated. So I talk about labs to consider if you haven't gotten better with the protocols, such as adrenal labs, comprehensive stool analysis, copper toxicity, female hormones, full thyroid panel, organic acid test, foundational nutrient panel, and a mold panel. And then I share a section about interventions to consider. So beyond everything that I just shared, I'm going to help you sleep, right? So I'm going to help you figure out what you need. Neurotransmitters can be helpful for promoting calmness and reduce tension and anxiety. So if you're somebody that has a crazy mind where you are just racing thoughts in the evening, and I've had that too, especially during book launch times. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. So one of the things to turn off your racy mind could be something like a GABA supplement or a 5-HTP supplement. And this will generally help with that. And if you feel tense in your body as well. Then looking at sleep supporting nutrients to support more refreshing, deeper rest, you may wish to consider choline, glycine, and omega-3 acids, which are also part of my Tired Mommy protocol to help people who are night workers or sleep deprived. Melatonin is something that can be very helpful for helping you get more sleep. I know I generally recommend, tuning in with the circadian rhythm. So after sunset, doing blue blockers and red glasses. But the last few days, I've been doing interviews in the evenings with bright lights, right? And so sometimes there's situations where you're not able to have your body produce its melatonin naturally. And in that case, you can actually take melatonin as a supplement. I generally recommend it, maybe 0.3 to 0.5 milligrams per day. There's actually 2 versions that you may benefit from. I'm like show and tell today, huh? There's melatonin, it says 0.5. And then this releases if you have trouble falling asleep. And then melatonin suspended release. This is something that you could utilize if you are waking up throughout the night or waking up too early. And then last but not least, glycine. So glycine is something that I recommend utilizing if you know that you're not going to be able to get a refreshing, restful sleep. A recent study found that glycine subjectively and objectively improves sleep quality and reduce daytime sleepiness and fatigue in people with insomnia and sleep deprivation. So this is something, the last week my son was sick and he was waking a lot throughout the night. And so I needed to, be on nighttime mommy duty, which many parents, oftentimes it's like, oh yeah, I would sleep, but I have children. And so if I know that something like that's going to happen, I would utilize glycine for that. So that allows my body to get into deeper sleep, even though I know I'm not going to be getting enough sleep. This is generally something that you do want to combine with P5P or B6 if you are deficient in that, because that can overconvert to that glutamate that I mentioned earlier. The dosage of that is about 3 grams per day. So I wanted to let you know, hopefully that was helpful if you have insomnia and sleep issues. The fastest ways to get into adrenal dysfunction is by not getting enough sleep. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle, because then you have adrenal dysfunction, then you can't sleep. So hopefully this little talk is going to be helpful for you. You'll get some good rest. If not tonight, maybe later this week. I do encourage you to get my book. It's available now. Today is pub day. It's available now on Amazon for 20% off. Woohoo! And it's also available on Barnes & Noble, wherever fine books are sold. So if you've already gotten your book, I'd love to know if it's been helpful. Okay, I have a few more minutes before I have to jump, but I wanted to see if there's any questions for me. Okay, Kimmy posted ATP, and looks like Julie wanted to know about the fatigue she can't seem to shake. A lot of times that could be related to mitochondrial dysfunction, and mitochondria uses ATP to make energy. And you will notice Adrenal Transformation Protocol is, the abbreviation is ATP. So part of the reason why I think we have such phenomenal results in this program is because I really focus on mitochondrial support. So I do encourage you to check this out. Carnitine D-ribose are two things that can be very game-changing, and I talk about them in here. Great. I have insomnia, hypothyroidism, and take levothyroxine. Magnesium doesn't help. So definitely consider doing an Epsom salt bath, and do consider getting the book, because that has further tweaking for you on what to do. So it will, it kind of depends. If you have trouble falling asleep, melatonin might be helpful, or in dark lights. If you're somebody that has trouble with frequent night wakings, you might utilize something like ornithine. If you're somebody that has trouble with like that 2 to 3 p.m. waking up, feeling hungry, then that's a blood sugar issue. Okay, I already ordered. Can I get the bonus? Absolutely. So we're going to have the bonus. That's going to be the blood sugar bonus for you. And I'm going to I'm trying to remember what the link of that was, so I don't say the wrong thing. I've been kind of talking all day. So it's going to be ATP pre-order. And I'm just going to pop the link in here if you wanted to get the pre-order bonus. I'm suspecting I have estrogen dominance. I have brain fog, Hashimoto's tiredness. Definitely, if you have estrogen dominance, I recommend Magdalena Afshalaki's work. She focuses on liver support for estrogen dominance. As far as daily headaches, do consider Epsom salts, magnesium, and riboflavin. Let's see here. My daughter has elevated antibodies. Ultrasound is normal, but clears her throat often. Is that a sign of Hashimoto's? It could be. So I do recommend that you definitely get her some help and support her on her healing journey. So thank you guys all for joining. Hopefully this has been helpful. I hope that you will pick up a copy of Adrenal Transformation Protocol, and that you'll join me for the official book launch party tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central on Facebook and YouTube.